more on that when that comes, if that does become official. John, the other thing to talk about and discuss with yourself is the big fight coming up between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford, given your history with Canelo Alvarez. John, during your career as an active fighter, you was known as the bar in sparring. If you could hang on, hold your own with John Ryder, then you had something about you. Canelo has recently been sparring with Jaron Ennis, who we know has got something about him. But do you think Jaron Ennis is the perfect setup for sparring for Terence Crawford?
Yeah, I think he's smaller, got the speed. Crawford is a special fighter, though. He's one of them generational greats as well. Like, you got two generational greats going up against each other there. And for the fight fans, it's a real treat. And listen, I'm sure financially they're both going to come away winners. But listen, it's a hell of a fight. And listen, I believe Canelo will come away victorious, but Terence Crawford has got the ability to make this really hard for him. The switch hitting, the punch variety, the punch volume. He's so smart with his hand placement, how he moves his feet. He can make it a nightmare for Canelo. But I just believe over the course of the 12 rounds, Canelo will grind him down with the weight advantage. And I'd say it beat him on a narrow points margin.
Canelo, a lot of talk about punch power. Obviously, you experienced it. Callum Smith as well too. Billy Saunders, some of the Brit fighters have been in the ring with him. How would you describe his punch power?
It's not one punch power, but it's like it's the consecutive punches he put together. He can really load up, and he doesn't seem to fade. He doesn't explode with 3 or 4 punches and then need to breathe to go again. He'll do it, and he'll put the second phase on it, and he'll put the heavy shots in again. So he's always there to throw. He's always in range to throw. He's always got the hands cocked to throw, and he doesn't waste much.
A lot of conversation from the media and pundits, and I want to get the take from the fighter like yourself as to Canelo not being as good as he once was. Still a great fighter, but not as good as he once was. Do you see that in him in his recent run of fights, that he isn't the fighter that you thought?
No, listen, I think he's getting older. He's got a lot of miles on the clock. We're seeing now 60 odd fights in. And listen, it's not so much the fights to take the toll, it's the camps. You might fight 12 rounds, but you've done hundreds of rounds of sparrings per camp, and that takes its toll. And listen, I'm sure he spars a lot bigger guys than him, a lot smaller guys, but listen, he probably does take a lot of shots in training. So for him now, it's about being smarter throughout camp, lessening the load in camp maybe, and saving more for fight night. But listen, I think he's become a bit more economical. He doesn't throw as much as he used to, and doesn't need to run around the ring like he used to, but he's very smart with his footwork, his hand placement, and how he works.
What about in terms of that footwork, in terms of cutting down the ring? When I spoke to Ishmael Salas, he kind of highlighted that Canelo has that typical Mexican kind of one-line style type of attack, but does try to cut down the ring, and will try and do that with Terence Crawford, who does find exits within the fight. Do you think Canelo will have that in his advantage in cutting down the ring, or do you think that Terence Crawford is able to find ways out of traps?
Yeah, if anyone can find ways out of the traps that Canelo will set, is Terence Crawford. I mean, we're talking about Canelo's footwork being very good. Crawford's footwork is also very, very good, if not better. Canelo's very ploddy, methodical on his feet. He wants to get in and set the power shots, but he also does a little skip to the side and cuts you off, so he can make that ring very small for you. But Terence will do the same. He's also got that switch hitting style where he can kind of tie you in knots.
I heard as well too, you mentioned on Boxing Scene, Canelo's lost the speed but not the power. How much is the loss of speed taken away from his game?
I think the loss of speed takes away the KO power, the one punch KO power, because you can often see he'll often show you what he's going to throw, but he's so determined to throw it and land it. He's going to do it regardless of what you do, whether he almost show you that he's going to throw a left hook or a right hook, but it's trying to get out of the way of it and trying to catch it, and it's just not always that easy.
And how much, when you were game planning for Canelo, did you take from his defeats to Bivol and Mayweather and try to affect that in your fight? Were you able to do that? Is it something that's translatable, those two defeats?
Listen, my fighting style was nowhere near
Yeah.
Bivol's, so I'm not that in and out kind of footwork. I'd tie myself in knots if I tried to be like that. And Mayweather was very early in his career, so you couldn't really take too much from it. But you look at like the first fight with Golovkin, which I thought Golovkin won, and it was just about pressure. But listen, whatever game plan I had quickly went out the window after the second round when I got my nose broke. So it's more just for a few rounds it was survival, and it was have a go.
Do you think Terence can take anything from Bivol and Mayweather's game plan?
Yeah, I think maybe. I mean, he's got the defensiveness of Mayweather, and he's also got the footwork that can emulate Bivol and do what he did of the in and out, making her fall short and come up with the fast counters.
Whoever wins this fight, are they your pound for pound number one?
I think so, yeah. Listen, massive, especially if Terence Crawford beats Canelo, I think you've got to put him as pound for pound number one. That'll be some feat to, what's he done now? 3 weights undisputed, to skip a weight. Well, skip 2 weights really. He's only just moved up to light middle. To skip light middle and middle to go on to be a super middleweight undisputed is a massive feat in itself. And I think, yeah, you've got to put some respect on his name and put him at number one.
John, just apologies if you said it at the start, because I was obviously listening intently to your insight of your answers. How do you think this shakes out? Do you think, can I push you for a winner?
I think Canelo wins, but I think it's very close. I think the weight will be a factor later on the rounds, and Canelo will kind of grind him down and grind out a points win. But I think it's going to be very close for a while. And listen, I wouldn't. If you're saying Terence Crawford won, I don't think the world would be shocked. I wouldn't be shocked. He's got it in his arsenal to go out there and cause massive problems. If he can sustain it for 12 rounds, then he's got a very good chance. But if he lets Canelo find his rhythm, cut him off in the ring, then it's going to be a Canelo win all night.
John, real pleasure. Thank you for speaking to Seconds Out, and wish you, of course, all the best in your training career and the fights coming up soon. Once again, much appreciated.
Thank you, mate. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure.